Hello, everyone, and welcome to Scuffed Streams. Not scuffed now; it will be. I know, I know. Some people claim the brand, but we're all scuffed. All streams are scuffed in some way. Anyway, welcome. We will be playing. Oh, hold on. To click over. Right. So we will be playing the adventures of Tonnen O'Brien today, or continuing the adventures of Tonnen O'Brien. Our Conan O'Brien somewhat look-alike, who is a Ravenclaw.
Does it get any more cozy than Hogsmeade?
So, where did we leave off last time? I know we fought trolls.
Utter bedlam in there. You
So
might even meet Sirona, the owner.
we got our
She's a good
wand.
one to know.
So we've basically completed the first two classes. We've gotten our first sort of set of spells. Those with the Levioso and Accio. And Lumos and Reparo. So we've gotten those. And now we were in Hogsmeade picking up things we needed for our studies. So that was happened previously. And this is Sebastian Sallow. He is the Slytherin and friend we have chosen to accompany us to Hogsmeade. So anyway, there was actually a lot that went on, the last couple weeks. We had the deepfake drama, which I'm not going to comment on because it will ban me from the internet. There's more legacy drama, actually.
Yeah, what happened this time?
You said you could get to the child when they came to Hogsmeade. That all you needed was a distraction. I gave you a distraction.
I just watched a student take down your distraction. Who's this child? What are you not telling me?
Your cursor's in the way.
All you need to know is that if you cannot get to the child, then you have no value to me.
Let's go.
Hey, there's a child. Get him.
Did they see us?
I don't think so.
What was that goblin doing with Victor Rookwood?
Ranrock is working with Rookwood.
The goblin from the Daily Prophet. I knew I'd seen him somewhere. Quickly, let's get inside the 3 broomsticks.
It's a treat to see you, Lodgok. I shall let you know if I hear anything.
Oh yeah,
Thank
this
you,
lady.
Sirona.
You be well.
Oh yeah, and there's controversy surrounding her.
Yep. And then one of the developers came out, and people are getting harassed
Now,
on stream.
What can I... Oh, there's a face I haven't seen before.
Yeah, it's fun. Fun
It's
stuff.
my first time here.
Welcome. Butterbeer's on me. Heard about the attack. I shall be looking in on the other shopkeepers and residents shortly. Glad to see you two escaped injury.
Thanks to this one. Single-handedly took down a troll.
Is that right? Well done.
Thanks for this.
Oh
My
yeah, so
pleasure.
there was a
I will say, trolls in Hogsmeade. That's never happened before. Something's not right. The only brutes we usually have to deal with are... How timely.
Was that Lodgok I saw leaving just now? Your clientele's not what it used to be, Sirona.
Not to worry, Victor. Once the two of you leave, the caliber of my clientele will greatly improve. I wouldn't do that if I were you, Theophilus.
Come now. No
Hey, it's
need
the Riddler.
for tricks. I'm only here for this one anyway.
My friend is enjoying a well-earned butterbeer.
Only want a quick word.
Perhaps you didn't hear me. I said, my friend is busy.
One would think you all had enough bloodshed for one day. Come, Theophilus. The Three Broomsticks isn't what it used to be. Let's take our galleons elsewhere. Can't drink butterbeer forever.
Seems you've made an unfortunate enemy. Watch your back. Rookwood and Harlow are worse than any troll you might encounter.
Trolls, Ranrock, and Rookwood? What are you not telling me?
I promise to tell you everything, but it's perhaps best I do that later.
And on that note, I think we should
Revelio.
head to the castle.
Okay, so the controversy surrounding this lady here is, first of all, that she's supposed to be trans representation, but that didn't,
Did not
fly.
satisfy them.
Yeah,
Not lady
it didn't
enough.
satisfy them, which is shocking. This place was like full a second ago, and now it is not. Like, there's only one person here. Who were all those people? Where did they disappear to when Rookwood and Harlow were here?
Maybe they went upstairs. Think you
Lumos.
might find them all around the place.
Perhaps. I was hungry. Anyway, so someone put a mod in, actually modded the game, which so far, looking at, I haven't looked at the mods yet, but I'm excited to. I know one guy said he modded it to where there's 0 cooldown. So he's basically just a spell machine gun. And
Yeah.
but
go
like
on.
one mod was for her voice, where it made her sound more female, and that mod got banned off Nexus Mods.
What's it? Nexus Mods. That's the same modding website that also took down those Spider-Man mods, right?
I'm
one that
think
certainly
so,
glad
yeah.
Sirona was there.
Replaced the pride flags
Told
with
you she was
American
one of the good
flags.
ones.
I can see
Yes.
that. She didn't seem at all intimidated by Rookwood and Harlow.
I think you'll need to tell me why Victor Rookwood has you in his sights. But we can talk later. For the moment, we should return to the castle. Professor Weasley's certain to hear about the troll attack soon if she hasn't already. Don't want to risk another detention.
Yeah, this sort of becomes my cursor. So there's not really a way to get rid of it. And then I think also Velma season 2 has been confirmed.
Yep. I've heard that that the reasoning was actually because they were both made at the same time. They were just divided up.
Well, that's stupid. So I guess technically Mindy Kaling won, but not really.
And so you said you watched the rest of the show.
I did. I did watch the rest of the show.
And what compelled you to keep watching?
Morbid curiosity. I was curious as to how bad it would get. I think I told you like at one point that I'd watched watched a lot of it, or at least watched like up to the episode 7. Fuck, I'm lost. And like it was bad in episode 7, but oh, it got so much worse. So basically the rest of Velma goes like
Handy resource indeed, your field guide.
so Velma is hard to describe because it doesn't really have a plot so much as plot threads that it doesn't really do anything with. So like Daphne's plot, I thought that was a different thing. So Daphne's plot is basically I'm going to find my parents, and in order to execute that plot, she lies and deals drugs, of which nothing is, made. She's just a drug dealer for one episode, and purely to like give Velma an obstacle, or basically it's to give Daphne and Velma a reason to interact with one another. Like that's it. And then Daphne just gives her the clue to potentially finding her mother. But Daphne's arc continues, was where it turns out her parents were members of the Crystal Cove crystal mines, and so they have been stealing from the mines, which still have crystals in them. So they've been stealing from the mines and are now planning to abscond with their plunder. And in doing so, they basically use Daphne as a distraction for her police officer mothers. So,
Professor,
and then
I'm
they
glad to see you.
come to find out
And
they
you.
just abandoned
Thank
Daphne
Merlin
anyway.
you're in one piece. I heard about the attack.
So,
Trolls in
and
Hogsmeade?
the reason
Sir,
her
the trolls were
mom's
wearing
never told
armor.
her
It had that dark glow like the
was
dragon collar.
because
Goblin silver. Ranrock used it to control
they
the
didn't
dragon.
want her to ever feel unwanted.
How? And why send trolls too?
They were there because of me.
And that's
I overheard Ranrock talking with
arguably
Victor
the
Rookwood.
best
Ranrock was in
subplot
Hogsmeade
in Velma.
with Rookwood.
The trolls were Ranrock's distraction.
The
so that
overarching
Rookwood
plot
could get to me.
basically ends
And
up
he
with
would have had Serona and the
Velma
Bacons at the Three Broomsticks not intervened.
Velma being
This is
handed all the
great news
clues to
indeed.
finding her mother,
If Ranrock's
her mother
goblins
finding
and
her,
dark wizards are after you, they want what we found in that vault.
then turning out that she'd been hypnotized by
They're after the lock.
Yes.
she'd been
I discovered an
hypnotized by
inscription.
the real killer
When I read it aloud, this map
to
appeared.
basically take the fall
Clever
for it.
enchantment. It's a map of Hogwarts, to be sure.
And the real killer
but I do
turns
not
out to be
know
Fred's
where
mom.
it leads.
Turned out to be
leads
who?
Library.
Fred's mom.
A restricted section, to be precise.
And her
A bit beyond. I see traces of magic there on the map.
reason for
I
doing
suspected
this.
you would see something. Shall we
Her
go?
reason for doing
I
this
appreciate
is
your enthusiasm,
because-
and I'm eager to discover what we may find there as well. But if our experience at Gringotts, let alone what happened
so
to
her reason for
Miriam,
doing this is
taught me
because
anything,
she
it's that
supposedly
the path we're on
built.
is
She was the
terribly
daughter of the
dangerous.
of
I'd like you to work
the
with Professor
general.
Hecat a bit. Before we
And
continue,
this general is
But, sir,
introduced, I
how
think, in like
dangerous could the
episode
library
3. So
Perhaps
you
we're
might
only
not have
after a
seen it.
book.
perhaps we
But
are only
this
after a book,
general was
but we
like
should be prepared for anything.
in Vietnam. He
Once
didn't
you've
like
honed your
hippies,
defensive
so
magic further, come and see me.
he wanted to get,
I'll
or
let
he didn't
Professor
like
Hecat know to
quote
expect you.
unquote meddling kids. So in order to remove who would basically interrupt like his propagandize,
Hey, Clayton, hold on a sec.
Yeah.
The voices in the game are louder than yours. I think you need to adjust the volume a little bit.
Yeah, 1 second. Let me get in here. We're going to reduce and reduce and reduce. Well, actually, no. There we go.
Okay, so you said that she was the daughter of a general who hates hippies.
Yeah, so she was a daughter of a general who wanted to get rid of so-called meddling kids, and who basically he was trying to drum up support for the Vietnam War effort, I think is the implication here. And so, in order to do this, he used hypnosis, and then Dr. Edna Perdue, who discovered who discovered the scientific way to keep a brain alive in a jar.
Some kind soul help me.
I mean, you can help her, but I don't want to.
Yeah, I think I saw her. That's the girl from Art. I think I saw that in Arch's playthrough of this. You have to help her find a bunch of balls scattered everywhere.
Yep. Yeah, so unless it's for a spell, I don't... most of the side quests really aren't worth it unless you like collecting objects. Or some of them give you gear and stuff, so it is worth it, but not really worth it. Either way. But the... So it turns
I
out
believe we have some matters to discuss.
that at one point, I guess the general, that after Edna Perdue, who supposedly went insane, but decided that her research should never have seen the light of day, checked herself into a mental facility and locked her and hid her research away from the general, well, to try and keep him from using brain swapping and hypnosis is to, drum up support from the youth for the Vietnam War. So after Edna Perdue does this, who is Norval's grandmother. After she does this, the general is ruined. Like, his name is Mud in the military. So he gets discharged, or he dies a disgrace. But Fred's mom, his daughter, is like, nah, so I'm gonna marry into the Jones family, who was already successful enough to sell pocket watches to the military sell pocket watches to the general for his hypnosis experiments. Trust me, it's not that far-fetched. The military has spent far more on dumber shit. I just repeated myself. Jesus. So she marries into the Joneses, and then builds it into and then claims she built it into an international brand. And now, being that Fred's the show's punching bag, we can't have him not entirely be the reason that this woman's motivation is what it is. We're gonna get through this dialogue scene.
I'm here about the new spell you wanted to teach me, Professor.
Good. Professor Fig indicated a certain urgency to you completing your defensive magic assignments. As such, you are to learn
I
Incendio,
don't understand
the
what those
fire-making
like
spell, handy for
eyes
lighting
in the
torches,
background of her
burning
thing
away
are.
spider webs, and, when necessary, defending against those who would wish to do us harm.
Sounds versatile.
I wish
Quite.
Incendio was better.
But before we get started, I'd like you to complete a few tasks. You may be surprised by some of them. Astonishing how much
Kind of reminds me of Full Metal Alchemist.
No. When you're finished, come and see me.
You know, the eyes.
Then we shall begin working
Yeah.
on Incendio.
Yeah, looks like the
You know where to
father
find
homunculus.
me. Finished.
Seems crossed wands isn't as secret as it's believed to be.
Oh, nice to see you, my young friend.
She literally directed us to speak with the guy in charge of it. Like, no, she literally directed us to the person she knows that is a participant. Also, supposedly that woman, the Defense Against the Dark Arts professor, was at one time an unspeakable for the Ministry.
Was it what?
Unspeakable. So basically, she was Ministry's. She was like Ministry Special Forces Research and Development. Like they do some weird shit in the Department of Mysteries. Like Hermione's Time Turner came from there. Her all the prophecies and shit are recorded in there. And then of course they have the veil. You know, the one that Sirius Black falls into.
I think so. We shall see who shows up.
There's no one in the school I'd be afraid.
I know, Sebastian. I know.
Anyway, so Velma's mom basically is like, you know what? I'm going to switch my idiot son's brain with a young hot girl's brain, and you know, all will be well because my brand will live on.
Hello, Lucan. May I use the training dummy?
Of course. I'll fetch it and give you a list of combinations to practice. Ready to have a try now?
My company will be successful in the next age because
That
my
would be
son isn't a
wonderful.
moron.
Be sure to cast all your
basically.
spells before the dummy lands. If you need to stop practicing before you finish all of them, let me know.
All of this, by the way, is revealed after Velma has
Accio.
sort of
Levioso.
stumbled her way into figuring out who the killer is. So basically, her mom's gets arrested.
Accio.
That's it.
Her mom gets arrested for being, you know, the serial killer.
Levioso.
And then Fred's mom kidnapped, who
Nicely done.
has decided
Levioso.
Velma that Daphne
Accio.
will be her successor, or is going to switch Daphne's brain and Fred's brain,
I'd say that's enough practice. You looked good out there.
Thank you, Lucan.
and
I
thus
say better to
kidnapped
discover
them.
one's weaknesses during practice than during a duel. You'll be a fearsome challenger now.
So Velma doesn't figure anything out throughout the whole series.
Hello, Lucan. Is the next round of crossed wands all set?
Why, yes it is. I've got a great match lined up. Ready for another round?
I'm ready. Let's do it. I'll be dueling solo.
Then let's get to it.
We stand alone. We are the
Ready
lone
to get
warrior.
thrashed? Apologies in advance.
Accio.
Potato!
You're better than that. Levioso.
Leviosa.
Levioso. Potato. Super.
Give them what for?
Stupid. Accio.
Leviosa.
So,
Levioso.
and that is basically the entire plot of Velma summed up. It's just Velma stumbles around trying to find her missing mother, makes everyone's lives worse in this by being kind of a bitch, and then proceeds to
I could never duel like that.
and then that's it.
Bravo.
And then Fred's mom is the villain.
You did indeed. The other
And
duelists
who
have already
is
taken
motivated
notice of
only
you,
by
but
the
after that
fact
last
that
round,
men
they'll
fuck
really have
everything
it in
up.
for you. You'd better keep practicing if you want a chance at winning, or at least surviving the next round.
Yeah, I've seen like a screen cap from the show where apparently Fred's mom ends up getting crushed to death, and then Velma just twerks next to her corpse.
Yeah.
Assignment's all finished.
That is a thing that happens. And then there's, of course, the various sort of subplots. What's in things. So, I guess Norval's subplot is him standing up for himself, but learning that he shouldn't stand up for himself. Also, that that him loving Vilma, despite her being a cow, is perfectly okay. Dude gives up his dream school for her. Like at the end of the series, the final episode, Velma has basically used and abused Shaggy to the point where he's like, "Fuck off, bitch." And Shaggy wants to stay. I forgot that detail. Shaggy wants to stay, and his mom is like, "Velma's a bad influence on you, and her mom is a serial killer." Also, at one point, Velma accuses Shaggy's father of being a serial killer, which is what drives them apart. But because Velma is a moron, and it was only Shaggy's father making a sword for his son. So Shaggy's mom decides, you know what, we're leaving, and Norville's like, yeah, I kind of agree. The police drove a tank through our house. Oh yeah, the image of the police in this show is what does not exceed, like, the whole they ran over a baby joke that happened in episode 1. That doesn't change. The tone doesn't change at all. It's just that, like, the whole show is like, fuck the police, basically.
I trust Mr. Brattleby
because
was
they're
able to accommodate
incompetent
you and that you found success in your
over militarized and like
That's
all
not very
that shit.
That's not very positive representation, since the main police we see are lesbians.
Oh yeah. But remember, they're lesbian cops. They're lesbian cops, so they are lower on the hierarchy of evil, but still on the hierarchy of evil because they're cops. It's why they have a few moments. It's why the lesbian cops have like a few moments where they're semi-competent, but in general, they're terrible people. Fred remains a punching bag throughout the whole series. So does Norville.
Glad to hear it. Then you
I can't
should be
remember if
ready
it's
to learn Incendio.
Should be, Professor.
Yes.
Like second,
Your
it's
spellcasting
like the
has
third or
impressed
fourth
me thus
episode.
far, but please
But
maintain focus.
Velma
I would
gives
rather we not end today's
Fred a
lesson
copy
with
of
your
the
robes
feminine
aflame.
mystique.
Let us begin. And remember,
And
focus on the proper wand movement.
It
concentrate
basically
and keep
turns
your
him
wand
into
steady.
a simp for her. And so Fred, Velma, so Fred, Daphne, and Norville
Good work.
are
Feel
all
free to practice in the
in love
classroom
with
before
Velma.
you go. I've set up a few
Incendio.
tasks. Getting it
Yes, and she's also a stand-in for the show writer.
yourself.
I mean, she looks just like her, right?
Yeah, it's just that's
I
some
want
weird
to,
ass
like-
projection right there.
Yeah, it
Have
is.
the entire Mystery Inc. crew once you're pussy.
No, the entire Mystery Inc.
Days ablaze is certainly cathartic, isn't it?
The entire Mystery Inc. crew, well, not only is in love with you, but all of them are in high school. Like, one of the things with the original Scooby-Doo is that the sort of nebulous age of the crew. Like, they look like they might be in high school, but they could absolutely be in college or even older. Or just in their 20s. Like,
Yeah, I think like the Zombie Island movie. Zombie Island seemed to, without saying it, seemed to kind of make it clear that they're adults.
yeah, like the sort of nebulous age is part of the Scooby-Doo way. And the fact that these are all people in high school, and we see at least 2 of them. No, I would say no. We see at least 3 of them in states of undress. It's a little creepy. I mean, just a little. I doubt there will ever be a way to sort of objectively critique Velma, because in order to do it, you would have to remove the author's malice. Like you would have to remove the bigotry. But the problem is the bigotry is so ingrained because the author has, like, I don't know what Mindy Kaling has gone through, but Jesus, girl, get some help. Because the level of malice in like every minute of Velma is just crazy. Like, seriously, the level of malice she has for basically anyone that is anyone that is not in line with the sort of progressive agenda. Dude, it's palpable as the series goes on, and it's very obvious in the first 2 episodes, which I think we did, but later it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse, and I think and finally it ends with
Hello, sir. You'll be pleased to know that I worked on my
um
defensive magic with Professor Heckard.
with
So I hear. She
Fred's
tells me you've
mom
taken
having
rather
Velma,
well to your
Daphne,
new
and
wand.
Fred tied
You
down
must
to
continue to work with her and your other
operating
professors to
tables.
improve your
She's
skills.
going to chop, and
That said,
she's like,
I
you
don't
know
wish
what?
to
I'm
postpone
not
our
going to
visit
switch
to the
Daphne
library
and
any
Fred's
longer.
brains. I'm going to switch Velma's
So,
brain
shall we
with
proceed?
Fred's brain. And then she
Fig!
basically goes on
I
a
have
rant.
work for you. Come.
Headmaster, I'm with a student and my schedule
Your
is...
schedule will wait indefinitely, as will your student. I would think that after all the trouble you caused me with Osric, you'd be eager to make amends. My office, 5 minutes.
That man is exasperating. Unfortunately, our trip to the restricted section will have to wait a bit longer.
But, Professor...
We have no choice. It would be unwise to provoke our illustrious headmaster further. I shall find you when I've completed whatever toils I must endure.
Oh, I saw that, I was looking at the credits and, like,
Sebastian mentioned sneaking into the restricted section.
one of the
Perhaps
consulting
he'll have an idea.
animation consultants was the guy who created Danny Phantom.
Butch Hartman.
Yes.
Oh, he worked on this.
I'm pretty sure it was him. It was someone
Sebastian,
from the
there
animation
you are.
industry that I
There
recognized.
you are. You promised me an explanation for what happened in the Three Broomsticks. Not many students have Victor Rookwood's attention. What was that all about?
Seems he's working with Ranrock, and Ranrock is after something I found at Gringotts.
Ranrock? And when were you at Gringotts?
Professor Fig and I ended up there after the dragon attack. It's quite the tale. Fig had this port key.
A port key? To Gringotts? I'm not sure I follow.
I barely follow myself, and I was there. Anyway, we ended up in an ancient vault where we found a map. That map leads to the restricted section.
You can't be serious.
Deadly serious. Professor Fig has insisted that I not tell a soul about any of this. I've probably said too much.
Understood.
Really?
Secrets.
You just said that you're not supposed to tell a soul.
Whatever it is.
Thank you, Sebastian. You mentioned being clever enough not to get caught in the restricted section.
And I am. Meet me outside the library tonight. And tell no one.
And what about the librarian?
How concerned should I be about the librarian?
Madam Scribner doesn't take kindly to clandestine activities taking place amongst her precious books. So do all that you can to avoid her. She and I have had our entanglements, but I can hold my own against her. You may not be so lucky.
Yeah, chloroform the bitch.
Thank you, Sebastian. I'll meet you later.
So, speaking of reboots written by malicious people, have you heard about the Proud Family reboot?
I have. I have not watched it.
See
almost
there?
intentionally
That's the door
so.
we need to reach.
Because while I
those
remember
annoying
the Proud
prefects would love
Family,
nothing more than to
I
rattle
wasn't
us to
that big a
Scribner,
fan of
So
it
don't let them see us.
when it was on.
Understood?
I can be sneaky. Let's go.
But
Hold on
from what I've
now.
seen now,
There's a
it's
spell you
like,
should know.
oh,
The disillusionment charm. Good for getting places you're not supposed to
Yeah,
be.
man, it's
Cast it and you'll appear as little more than a trick
Yeah.
of the light, just as long as you keep your distance and stay quiet.
You mean I'll actually be able to turn invisible?
Something like that. It's not as foolproof as a cloak, but those are expensive.
yeah, and I think the showrunner for that was that woman that we and Wisp talked about during that Disney leak.
oh, I'm shocked. The one that said I'm absolutely putting my gay agenda in your cartoons.
Yes. Yeah, and it's interesting. So, I mean, kind of like with the Velma show, there are two characters in a same-sex relationship, but they're not portrayed in an overly positive light. So, like, there are these two gay men. One is black and one's white, and then yeah, the black guy is outright just absolutely toxic to his white partner. He outright just fucking belittles him, and then makes him read the book White Fragility.
And this is and we're supposed to be rooting for him, for the black guy, right?
Yes.
I'm guessing, like at some minor offense, is the white man perpetrated.
Yep.
Librarian's still here. Quick, behind the bookcase.
And what was his offense?
I don't even remember.
You told me the librarian would be gone by now.
Oh yeah, and then
Something
there's
very-
the
Usually,
episode I just
but it'll
recently
still
heard
be
about, the one
alright.
about
You
colorism.
see her desk behind me.
The one where
is in the
I
drawer of
think
that
a guy
desk.
asks
Now,
Zoe out
Here's what we're going
to a
do.
dance,
I'll
and
create
all
Oh,
the
yeah.
other girls are
draw
angry at her,
away. You focus on getting the
and
key.
saying
meet
like
you
it's
outside
just
of the
because he's into
restricted
white
section.
girls that she asked her, and nobody even considers
You
the idea that
distract,
he
I
might
get
just
the
think
key.
Zoe's
Understood.
cute,
I said I'd get you in, and I always keep my word.
Yeah,
and so all of them are like at war with each other.
Yeah, then the episode ends with like the white girl revealing that he was just into white girls.
Yeah, and I'm just like, wow.
I mean, I kind of get where they're coming from with the message about staying away from, I guess, away from like race fetishists, because like they don't love you for your personality. They love you because you're a fetish. So I get the message, but at the same time, I don't think that's appropriate for a kid show.
Ah. Oh, right. She turns that way. Okay. But my thinking is like, okay, so what if he prefers white
That wasn't
girls?
so difficult
Like,
after all. How to find that book?
he
Oh,
like
that
in
one's
the end, it
charms
does
look more
turn
useful
out
than
like,
it is.
oh yes,
It's fooled me twice. Never judge a tome by its cover, I say.
like at the end of the episode, I think yes, it turns out he was into her for his because she was white. But why is like the show never goes out of its way to explain why that's a bad thing. It's just assumed to be a bad thing that you like people of a certain skin tone.
Should be in the clear now. No need for us to be skulking about.
So what is it you've been looking for?
I'm looking for a cure to help my twin sister, Anne, so that she can return to Hogwarts. Because Merlin knows everyone else has given up.
Why do you think you'll find a cure in the restricted section? Does the Hogwarts matron have nothing that can help Anne?
No, we've tried everyone from Nurse Blaney to St. Mungo's. But I can research on my own. No need to concern yourself with that right now. Let's focus on what you're after.
Okay,
Which is
for
what,
reference, that's how you open
precisely?
these chests. If anyone's
know
been
it when
having
I see it.
difficulty, it took me
You're
like
being
2
awfully
years to
cryptic.
figure that out.
That looks safe to open.
Accio. Incendio.
Is that one of those screaming books?
Probably.
Yes, nice try, game. I know my Harry Potter lore.
I'm wondering what this is.
A pixie.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Remember the pixies, kind of little humanoids with wings?
I remember they were.
Levioso. Revelio.
I remember the pixies not being very appealing.
Who have we here? Sebastian Solo and his new little friend. Out exploring where they shouldn't be. Naughty, naughty.
Fuck off,
You'll
Peeves.
Get caughty.
Peeves, don't
I'm
you...
going to tell. I'm going to tell. I'm going to tell.
Just ignore him.
Oh, blasted Peeves! I've got to stop him, or at least get to the librarian with a good excuse for all of this.
Wait.
I have a way. I like having. Now go. Now, where's that damned poltergeist got to?
I know just the spell to repair this armor.
Like I don't understand. And Peeves has been haunting this castle nigh on for eternity, and everybody puts up with his shit because they can't really do anything about him. But everybody just implicitly believes him when he
Reparo.
tells on people. My ass would be like, sure, Peeves. Peeves just like the last time. When you know. Like, that's the thing. Most of the Hogwarts professors grew up and were trained at Hogwarts. They know Peeves is full of shit half the time.
Of course. Traces
Yeah,
of
you gotta imagine the people playing this game who've only ever watched the movies are just going, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, Peeves wasn't in the movies.
Yeah, he actually was going to be in Sorcerer's Stone, but they ended up cutting him out for time.
Understandable.
Yeah, he was played by Rick Mail.
Where might
He's a
this lead?
famous British comedian.
Like, I don't understand Peeves's inclusion in the books. He's sort of like pointless.
Yeah, I think he's just there for comical relief.
But he's not ever funny.
Well, the book's written by a woman.
Cards at the ready. Incendio.
Oh, right.
Accio. Levioso.
So I actually like the combat system a lot in this game. It's very, very good.
Accio. Incendio.
It has a low bar to entry, which is nice.
Incendio. Accio.
Right.
Protego. Stupefy.
To be honest, the level of incompetence that Vilma is made with is shocking to me. Like, it's on the level of High Guardian Spice in terms of just sheer the number of problems in this show.
Oh yeah, we gotta. Yeah, I never saw High Guardian Spice.
That's because we never officially did anything on it.
Yeah.
Accio.
Ooh. That was good that I paid attention there. But yeah, High Guardian Spice was bad, man. Like, it doesn't... Like, High Guardian Spice, like, at least Vilma has something akin to a plot that happens during its show. Oh, High Guardian Spice just doesn't.
This must be the way forward, but to where?
Does not have a plot at all.
So is it just like Ruby, just a lot even less imaginative?
Nearly there. Best keep my
No,
wits
not at
about
all.
me.
I wouldn't even compare it to Ruby, because at least Ruby had at one time like a plot. Nope. Like, it wasn't just plot contrivances disguised as plot. It was like, hey, we have actual, like, details and understandable lore.
Yeah, so I ended up dropping this show before season 6 premiered. So, like, when does the plot start derailing?
Oh no, it's about then. Like, after season 4 is about when it's really, like, season 4 is okay. Season 5 is really, really bad with how it handles just about everything. And then season 6 on is just, it's bad.
It's a thing I find so fascinating with the Ruby fandom is that it's like 95% of the fandom is just shippers. That's like what makes up most of the fandom. Like, you can't come across, like, looking up Ruby fan art, you can't come across anything of a single character that doesn't involve that character being shipped with somebody.
Yeah.
And I just, yeah, you know, shippers are weird people.
Potato! Stupid.
Well, the problem with like Ruby shipping is that it's encouraged.
Accio. Incendio.
Yeah, I
Like,
think. Oh, go on.
Levioso.
yeah, like I think the problem is they encouraged it.
Yeah, big fatal mistake. Shippers are probably the most toxic part of any fandom.
Oh,
If their ship isn't canon, they will take that as a personal attack.
Oh yeah.
I think that was something that happened to that Voltron reboot on Netflix. Someone got a, I don't know if this is a true story or not, but so the story goes that somebody won a contest and got to have a tour of the studio that was making the show.
Mm-hmm.
So that individual got to see or got to learn about like what's going to happen on the show, and so that person wound up just taking a bunch of screenshots on their phone and then threatened to pretty much blackmail the writer, saying like, "Oh yeah, you got to ship Lance and Keith together, otherwise I'm going to leak all this." Evidently, if that's a true story, they obviously never gave in to that person's demands.
Yeah. But like, here's the thing with stuff is that leaks are going to happen, especially on a show where like,
Damn, that wind is loud.
yeah, sorry.
Is that someone we've already seen?
No.
So wait, are those Muggles?
You wanted to see me? Headmistress Fitzgerald, Professor Rackham.
I
Miss
don't think so.
Isadora Morganach, welcome.
Professor Rookwood, Professor McCaw.
We understand that you are adjusting well to life at Hogwarts.
I am.
I am glad, especially in light of your unusual situation, starting as a 5th year.
As it happens, I was also admitted to Hogwarts as a 5th year. I've never heard of another like us.
Miss Morganach, when we spoke yesterday after class, you asked about the beautiful swirls you saw years ago when we visited your hamlet.
I recognized you all immediately. I cannot thank you enough for what you did.
We were glad to help.
And yes, I did see swirls of magic everywhere that day. My father insists it was my imagination running wild, but it was certainly real to me.
It was not your imagination.
Percival, Professor Rackham can see them too, but we have never known of another who could.
I don't understand. What are they?
The whispers or traces that appear when a particular form of ancient magic is wielded.
Ancient magic?
Few are capable of wielding it. Hogwarts itself is a stronghold of ancient magic.
So if I can see traces of ancient magic, does that mean I can wield it too?
With the proper training.
But let us not get ahead of ourselves, Miss Morganach.
Before I can train you to wield such magic, you must first master all that Hogwarts has to offer.
A magic this powerful can do great harm in the wrong hands. It must be wielded by a select few. As such, we ask that you not speak to anyone about what we have discussed here today.
No wonder the progressives don't like this game.
Sebastian.
Sneaking in the restricted section again! I had thought we were through with this mischief. Clearly detentions are insufficient. I'm afraid I must take this to the headmaster.
But that being said, Peeves informs me that you didn't come alone tonight. If someone has coerced you, I would have you tell me. You're a bright boy. Don't waste this.
There was nobody else. I came alone.
Oh, Sebastian. What will your uncle say?
But he wasn't in the restricted section. Like, Peeves told you he wasn't in the restricted section, but you showed up as he was coming out from this area, which is not the restricted section. You know how I can tell what the restricted section is? It's got a gate in front of it. The longer I sit with this game, so I wouldn't say its story is bad, it just has a few issues with some parts. Like, I don't think they thought a couple of the sort of instances that happen all the way through the way they needed to.
Okay, so I guess we're talking about Ruby and High Guardian Spice.
Yes. So we were
You cannot be serious. Goblins working with Rookwood makes no sense.
It is rather unorthodox, to say the least.
Unorthodox. It's inconceivable.
Yeah, just yeah, shippers. I just find shippers such weird people.
Yeah.
It kind of makes me think they don't have very good social skills in real life. Like, you see, like Yang is trying to open up to Blake, you know, trying to be a good supporting friend, and then now that's one of the most popular ships in the fandom.
Yep.
What? That's... Wait. You accessed the restricted section? But how? Thinking
I guess, well, personally, I was more. I guess I was more of a Blake and Son, more into Blake and Son.
It appeared on
But I hear
I
like
agree.
I want to hear
but then I
That
heard
seemed to be
season
where they
6
were going.
Yeah, I think like season 6, they just blew that all to shit.
Oh dear. Some of these pages seem to be missing. It appears someone has got to the book before us. Still, I will need time to...
Oh, speaking of Ruby, did you see that trailer for the Ruby Justice League crossover?
I have not.
I wonder why.
It's such a weird concept. So the Justice League end up getting isekai'd into the Ruby universe.
Oh yeah.
They're transformed into Ruby characters. So Batman is now a Faunus.
The first memory showed him and 3 other
So he's
professors
literally a
using
Batman.
ancient magic
Yep.
to restore a hamlet from a
Subtle.
drought.
Miriam was right. And the second memory?
They were talking to a student who started as a 5th year, like I did. She could
Let me
see
guess.
traces
Wonder
of
Woman
magic
uses
too.
a lasso
Why those
for her primary weapon.
I think so.
Oh
Now I'll
God.
have to take it with me to
It's
London.
so strange. Like some franchises just don't work as crossovers.
George's
Okay,
death.
what about Green Lantern? What does he get? Because he can make anything.
I understand. I'll see what I can learn about the missing pages while you're gone.
I don't remember. I only saw the trailer one time.
Studies. Your wand work is improving by the day. But you'll want to pay attention in herbology and potions. There's more to magic than spellcasting.
Plenty to keep me occupied while you're gone.
You've done exceptionally well. I look forward to seeing all that you've accomplished when I return. Oh, and don't neglect your friends. You may be surprised by how much you can learn from them as well.
Usually crossovers work out if there's like they have something in common with each other, like a similar core concept. That's why the Batman Ninja Turtles crossover works so well.
No, the Batman Ninja Turtles crossover works.
Metal and see if we've a new school champion. Meet me at the usual place for the final round of crossed wands. Also, the training dummy is still available.
Okay.
Meet me in Lower Hogsfield
God damn it.
as soon as possible.
Whatever.
I'd like to talk to you about Rookwood and Harlow, and it might be best to do so outside of the castle.
But the what was I saying?
The Batman Ninja Turtles crossover.
Yeah, the Batman Ninja Turtles crossover works because the Ninja Turtles are inherently goofy, but they're superheroes.
Professor Fig and Weasley
And
have asked that I teach you an additional defensive spell. Please complete the assignments I have given you, and then proceed
and
to
Batman
see me in my
basically plays the straight man to their antics. So it works because they're opposites in that genre. But Ruby is very clearly supposed to be a shonen battle school anime, whereas the Justice League is comic book action superheroes. So you're asking to blend. So you're basically trying to blend the action styles of like two very different genres. This teaches you about caches, just Accio practice basically. And then I don't know what this will do because I haven't completed it, but it's basically collecting. So it's a fetch quest. And then Cross Wands is up, right? Whatever. We have a quest board. Okay, so oh yeah, we can do both. Yeah. So Ruby is such a vastly different type of show. The animation style is different. The dialogue style is different. The villains are absolutely different. It's just not the same genre of show.
Yeah, like I said, it has to have some kind of core similarity.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Ruby is
Incendio.
So season 5 is bad.
Revelio.
And it's like the finale is probably the worst. First because its fight choreography is just the worst. out of all the seasons. I think that's the worst thing about it is there's nothing to there's not a lot for them to do, and what they do doesn't make sense. But it's been a while since I've watched Ruby, but like I've seen the more I've seen plot synopses of the later seasons of Ruby. They don't get better.
Hello, Lucan. I'd like to practice with the training dummy.
Excellent idea.
Like they made
This
Ironwood a
time will
villain.
be a bit more of a challenge.
Oh,
Like
they
they
did?
turned Ironwood into a villain, but basically made him a moron
Wonderful.
in
I'll
the
set things up.
process.
Remember,
How?
spell
Like,
combination.
none of the previous seasons ever showed him being remotely evil.
Before you finish
So-
all of them, let me know.
So basically, his journey to evil is
Accio. Incendio.
So his journey to evil is the Ruby Gang arrive in Atlas. They find out that Atlas is divided into basically two cities. So there's Atlas, the floating city, and Mantle, the city underneath them. And Mantle, and Mantle has to have like constant heating and a wall around it to protect them from the Grim that are a constant problem that far north.
Accio. Incendio. Levioso.
And so when the Ruby Gang arrive, there's a hole in the wall. And also they find Penny resurrected. They resurrected Penny.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
And they didn't do anything with it. Like, I was fine bringing her back. Like, hey, she's a robot. It makes sense
Accio.
that she could be rebuilt.
Incendio.
But she doesn't. There's no, like, negative consequences for her being resurrected.
Accio.
There's nothing,
Incendio.
she doesn't have trauma or flashbacks or anything. She's back. Whoop-de-doo. Oh, and it turns out her father
I'd hate to face you in
has,
a duel.
like, the reason she has artificial and aura at all, the reason she's a living being, is because her father split his aura from himself and put it in her. Which doesn't make sense for the lore of the series, but okay. But back to how Ironwood turns into a villain. So Ironwood's up for election, basically. And he's happily going through it. Like, so he's taken over, installed martial law, and and now is basically the remaining council members are saying like, dude, we don't want you leading us anymore. You have to step down. And Darren was like, fine, we can hold an election. Or no, it's a different council seat up. Someone else's council seat is up for grabs. And no, I think it is Ironwood's council seat. Never mind.
Thanks, Lucan.
It's
You've
his
been a
council
great
seat.
help.
So
Oh,
he's got
stop.
a faunus
Don't make me blush.
woman
Seriously, well done.
called
Training dummies
Robin.
will think twice before challenging you again. Plus, you'll be even more formidable in crossed ones.
Who is working
Other
against
duelists
him
had better
as is
beware.
his wife's dad. Cool. So basically, it turns out Weiss's dad is working with Salem, the big bad of the series. And Watts is working to undermine Ironwood as well. So basically, Ironwood is like doesn't know where his enemy, doesn't know who his friends or allies are, or which he explains to the Ruby Gang, and the Ruby Gang are like, why don't we tell people? It's like, because because we don't know who our allies and enemies are, and then he spends the entirety of season 4 season. Are we going into volume 9 now? I can't remember what volume this is. It's like one of the. It's either 7 or 8. But Ironwood then goes. Ironwood basically explains to the Ruby Gang like, "Hey,
Hello, Lucan.
we don't know
Is the
who
final round of Cross
our
Wands
enemies.
ready?
Big match today.
We don't know who
It
our
all
allies
comes
and who
down
are our
to
enemies."
this. The moment that we
And
find out if your
like
training
the
and
whole
dedication
reason I'm
is
keeping,
enough to win it
because
all.
his goal at
Ready
the
for a shot at glory?
is to reestablish global communication. Because
I
with the
certainly
fall
am.
of Beacon,
Brilliant.
their
Are you doing, my
tower
partner?
went down. Their communication tower went down. We stand
I'll go it
alone.
alone.
Then let's
Their
get
communication
started.
tower went down, and now everybody's
We
communication
can make this a real
doesn't
victory.
work.
That's the spirit.
It's supposed to be a poetic thing, with one voice being silenced, the others are silenced as well, kind of thing.
Incendio.
So, no, it really does. And it's up to like volume 9 now. No.
Okay.
Did they find any of the other those elemental maidens?
Yes. So Winter becomes so Penny becomes one, and then Winter becomes one as well. I don't know what seasons they are. I think Penny might be spring, and Penny might be spring and
Incendio.
Levioso. Protego.
Penny might be spring and Winter might be actually like winter. Oh wait, no.
That's all you've got.
Confringo.
The
Protego.
Yeah, I kind of thought they'd be able to wrap the story up within just a few more volumes. Because watching like season 4 and onward, you kind of think that okay, the remainder of the plot's going to revolve around discovering who the other maidens are, and then presumably Team Ruby will each become the new maidens and destroy Salem.
yeah. So
Accio. Incendio.
So the Spring Maiden is Yang's mom.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So the Spring Maiden is Yang's mom. The Fall Maiden is Cinder, who has gone back to Salem after going out on her own.
That was nothing.
If the best you listens now to the victor, and so it.
Thank you.
You earned it. Now that we've wonder how.
I don't think I did. Oh no, I didn't dodge roll at all during that. Fuck me. Normally you can complete that do two quests in one. For that, you just have to dodge roll 10 times against enemy attacks. But we don't have to. What else? No, that won't give me anything.
So, does Ruby ever explain what faunuses even are?
No. No, it does not. It doesn't explain what faunus are. It doesn't explain what hold on, how much money do I have? 733. Okay, actually, we might be able to buy a broom, which would make life so much easier. Oh wait, no, he's got a quest, right? He's got a quest you do for him before you can actually buy the fucking broom, right? He's gone at this point.
Sometimes it seems all roads lead to
Sorry, I
Hogsmeade.
cannot remember if
Yeah,
that's
it's
the case.
I don't know. They could have
Yep.
done more to really explain why people are prejudiced against faunuses.
Yeah, like it's
But
a subject that is
yeah, it's
brought
like
up, and it seems like they'll elaborate on it in volume 1.
Revelio.
yeah, it's like yeah, I get it. Racism is a really stupid thing, but there's a reason why it happens. There's
Yeah.
a reason why people distrust other groups of people. Whether it's justified or not is a whole other issue, but there's a reasoning for it. So like why do normal people just pick on somebody just for having horns? I remember seeing this rewriting of Ruby series.
Mm-hmm.
I think the guy's explanation his explanation for like the origin of the faunuses was that they were humans that were mutated into being part animal. And actually really like that concept. So perhaps maybe that's why people are
long ago, no doubt.
people don't like faunuses, because maybe they were afraid that maybe the mutation was contagious or something.
Makes sense.
And even though it's been disproven to be contagious, the prejudice is still passed on through the generations.
Hey, it's a good explanation as any. But
Yeah.
so on to, I guess we're continuing Ironwood's descent into villainy. On his journey downwards that makes no sense, Ironwood tells the Ruby Gang about his communication tower, or his basically he's turning the tournament grounds from season 3 into a
Levioso.
levitate chicken.
Incendio.
Now it's fried chicken. Anyway. Basically he turns.
This looks intriguing.
He tells Ruby about the communication tower, and Ruby then tells his political enemy, who is upset because, Ironwood hasn't dedicated any resources, mind you. It's been supposedly weeks in the Harry Potter in the Ruby timeline.
I never thought Ramrock's
like
loyalists
between
would go this
episodes.
far.
It's been like
Pardon
a couple
me,
weeks,
is
or
everything
it's
all
been
right?
like this for weeks.
Hardly.
Ironwood
I've just
hasn't
lost my
fixed the
business
hole in
and
his
almost my
wall
life.
because he
You'd
can't
best look
dedicate
elsewhere for
resources
wares. I've
to
nothing
the
to sell
hole
now.
when he has to build the
thought it'd come to
communication
this.
tower, because
Be
someone
on
finds
your
out about
guard.
the communication tower, it
Ramrock
gets
and his
sabotaged.
loyalists will spare no one.
They attacked you.
Oh, Ramrock has no
But
patience
I'm
for
sitting
goblins who
here,
won't join
but
him. Well, I too would
anyone
like
with
to
a
see
brain in their
goblin-kind
head would
treated
be
by
like,
wizards as
well,
equals.
yeah, but you're gonna
But
throw your
Shed is not
entire
the
city into a
answer.
vault.
When I said as much, they
And
turned on me. Struck me
you're
till I
like,
nearly
you're
passed out.
giving
Took my carts, my
everyone
belongings,
a reason
even
to
that
hate
which
you
is most precious to me.
for no
My
reason.
paintings.
Like, Ironwood won't dedicate resources to go fix the hole in the wall because he's like, well, I don't know what those resources are going to. All of these I need to reestablish world communication. But I'm like, why? You just fix the hole in the wall, then work on communication. because the people aren't happy with the hole in the wall, and the hole in the wall is a problem. And even if your enemies are inside, you still don't want their attacks from outside. You still don't want to leave a massive hole in your own defenses. Like a kingdom betrayed, it has lost the advantage. But a kingdom with a hole in its wall has no advantage to begin with.
I'm sorry this happened.
We're gonna help this goblin man.
I did enjoy Slim. It was nice meeting you. I wish it had been under better circumstances.
After what Ranrock did to that goblin banker at Gringotts, I shouldn't be surprised at what happened to Arn.
Anyway. But then Robin, in all her brilliance, she is a moron in the worst way. Like, she's moron for plot, not moron because she's just a moron.
So let me guess, she's a bird faunus?
No, she's not. I don't think she's a faunus at all.
I thought you
But her
said she
semblance
was.
is basically that, oh, I get to her semblance is that she gets to, if she touches you, she can tell when you lie.
So I thought you said she was a faunus.
I think she might be, she might not be. I'm just not sure. Or I can't remember if there's any animal in her character design.
Accio! Incendio!
So I don't know. She might be a faunus.
Cursed fiends.
But she then reveals to Salem spies. She doesn't know they're Salem spies, but
I'm on the right track.
But like, come on, it's not that hard to realize. Like, oh, Ironwood has gone to great lengths to keep this thing that these two girls told me about very secret. So I'm gonna probably trust him in that regard.
This must be it.
Because by the time that she knows about,
looks as if there's more than one way to enter.
Accio!
By the time she does this, she knows about Salem, and she knows like, hey, what her deal is.
Incendio.
You've been paying attention? What are you doing?
Reparo.
What is this?
So she's just like, oh, I guess Ironwood has gone to great lengths to keep this secret. And then, of course, Ironwood, understandably, having Robin blurt this out in front of everyone, is a little angry at the Ruby Gang because they revealed it to her. Of course, this is presented as
how many of you are
horrifyingly off the chain. Like, how?
Accio.
What are you talking about? Ruby did nothing wrong.
Potato. Yes.
And so by the end,
easily diverted.
So by the end of the season, Ironwood has no one he can trust.
Levioso.
So he's just like, all right, well, I'll just do my own thing then. Because I'm going to do what I have to do to protect my kingdom.
I won't rest.
Which is odd that they call them kingdom, but there's no king or queen.
Little magic tricks down. You don't believe you can defeat me, do you?
Incendio. Levioso.
Not quite.
Levioso.
A miss. This will not go well for you. Prepare to surrender now. Not quick enough. Pity, not quite. I'll cut you from shoes to shadow.
I stopped talking. I was focusing. So Ironwood spends most of like the next volume sort of being evil, like straight up at the end of the season. He straight up executes some guy without any sort of without mercy. Like he's like at the end of the season, at the end of the first part of the season, which is basically like so after all this happens, there's a massive Grim attack, and Ironwood is like, oh well, I should probably have, you know, listened to y'all a little bit. So he decides, hey, I'm gonna dedicate this. The plan's blown, the tower's blown up, so we need to prepare for Salem's arrival. So martial law. This goes over as well as you would expect. And then at the end of that season, he's like, you know what? Salem's on her way. I have to save as many people as possible. Well, we are going to blow up Mantle. We're going to blow up Mantle and whoever makes it onto like the people that made it onto Atlas will be the ones that survive. That's just a choice I have to make. It's a hard choice, but it's like one he doesn't have the resources to fight Salem. He knows that. So he's just he makes the tough choice. Ruby naturally disagrees with this. So Ironwood attempts to capture them and doesn't go well for who he sends. But that's how Ironwood becomes a villain. For basically doing what he thought was right, even though that was moronic.
Levioso.
Was that you?
But yeah, that's the state of Ruby right now.
Sounds like they're just dragging the plot.
Incendio.
Well, the other issue is like that they don't really know what to do with Ozpin. Like, bringing him back was weird in the first place. It was a stupid plot detail, I think.
Yeah, so yeah, how does it explain how the whole Ozpin symbiosis thing works?
Yes, so basically Salem is his ex.
That was quite.
That's a shocker.
Now,
And do you remember the shorts they had between, I think, Volume 1 and 2, where it was like the world of Remnant?
Yeah, it's like
that gave the backstory and lore. Well, one that was about
yeah, I think it
wizard.
implies that Ozpin's semblance is immortality.
So basically that's correct. I think I'm not sure 100%, but basically
Quite an enchantment. The
Salem
carts
is his
returning
ex,
to Anne.
and they're both immortal. But both, like, they wished for something, I think, is what happened. And so Ozpin keeps coming back to try and put her down, and he's never succeeded.
So
And that is
Ozpin is the wizard from the maiden's backstory, right?
yes.
Protego! Stupefy!
Yes, Ozpin is that wizard.
Alright, so the Ozpin that we see from volumes 1 through 3, is he the same person as a wizard, or is that just the host at the time?
See, I think he's just the host.
So like the actual wizard himself wasn't actually Ozpin.
No, I think what happens is eventually Ozpin and the person who he's inhabiting's souls just merge together. And they just take over and become a singular person.
That's just gotta suck for Oscar. He's just out on the farm minding his own business, and boom, I'm inhabiting your body now. We're gonna be one being from now on.
Yeah,
Your carts are on their way back.
It's kind of fucked up.
Our very consciousness will eventually fuse together.
Thank you
Yep.
for proving them
You
Kinda
lose
fucked
your
up.
individuality. Have fun.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up. But basically, like every decision Team Ruby makes in Atlas is for the worse.
I managed to free you.
Oh, I'm glad you're all. You know, perhaps.
What a nice idea, Ron.
Oh, I can't wait to get started. Thank you.
But yeah,
Wonder
that's
who
the
lives
state of modern Ruby. Like, you could rewrite the whole
It is good
series
to
to
see
be
you, my friend.
so much better.
Hello, Natty. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. I was there, and I saw what happened with Rookwood and Harlow at the Three Broomsticks. I have been worried about you.
I'm all right at the moment.
If you don't mind my asking, why were they looking for you?
They want some.
When were you at?
Just before we came to Hogwarts, a portkey brought us there after the dragon.
What on earth?
There's one more thing. It's a bit odd, if I'm honest. Professor Fig says I have a rare connection to a powerful form of ancient magic.
What does that mean?
I'm still learning. I know that's a lot.
Pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
And I will have more questions. For now,
I have a connection to ancient magic. What does that mean? It means I have a connection to ancient magic.
Which is why I wanted to speak to you. Everyone has been talking about you defending Hogsmeade from that troll attack. And I shall never forget watching Serona stand up to Rookwood and Harlow in the Three Broomsticks. Both of you have inspired me to take a stand of my own.
What sort of stand?
Men like Rookwood and Harlow are the reason my mother and I left Matibililand. I am not going to sit by and watch them destroy my new home.
I'm curious how trolls made their way to England. Trolls are from Nordic mythology.
I mean, the Norse did make it to the English Isles.
So did they just smuggle the trolls?
Good. Rookwood and Harlow are a dangerous pair. And you should know that Rookwood is in league with Ranrock.
I had heard they were seen in Hogsmeade
Who knows?
together. All
The
the
magical
more
history
reason
of
they must be stopped.
Harry Potter
Rumor
is
has it
not
that
very
Theophilus
well
Harlow runs Rookwood's day-to-day
categorized.
operations.
Recent
Taking him
history is,
down
but
would
not more
cripple
the more
Rookwood's
ancient
entire
subjects.
enterprise.
That may be true, but shouldn't Officer Singer handle someone like Harlow?
I spoke with her. She was polite, but perhaps understandably would not discuss details with a student. I overheard some of Rookwood's lot talking about a massive poaching operation that Harlow is planning. I was thinking that we could investigate a bit. Try to get the evidence that Officer Singer needs.
All right. But how?
I am going to watch and listen, find out precisely what Harlow is up to. I shall reach out when I know more. In the meantime, remember, I am here if you need me.
Thank you, Natty.
Be on your guard.
I beg your pardon. How dare you threaten me?
What's going on here?
I've always said that travel broadens.
Seems a pleasant enough little place.
They must have come this way. Think!
I like that this lady is just walking on by, though. Like, this is happening.
I've no idea who it is you think I might have seen. I've been busy with my research. I do not have time to...
Victor Rookwood don't give a dox's nip back your time. Oi! Speak of the devil. Mr. Rookwood... would
Oi,
like-
lady, why ain't you wearing a mask? There's a pandemic in the air.
Enough out of you.
Leave her alone.
Now you...
Incendio. Levioso. Accio. Reparo. Stupid one.
I'll watch the light go out of your eyes.
I'm not going anywhere with you. Levioso. Protego. Tell Rookwood to find me himself.
Is that the best you've got? You'll see.
Levioso. Accio. Incendio. Accio. Incendio.
I just burned a woman into non-existence.
What on earth just happened? I've never been accosted in such a manner, and so close to Hogwarts.
Yeah, serves her right.
Are you all right?
I am, thanks in no small part to your excellent defensive skills. Care to tell me why two Ashwinders were ready to dispatch me to get to you?
Ashwinders?
Victor Rookwood's thieves and extortionists, his little cronies. They seemed quite keen on you.
It's a long story, but thank you for your help.
Well, you've avoided them for the moment. Priya warned me things were getting dangerous. Best get moving on my research before they return.
You're...
Nora...
Merlin?
The very same. Merlin attended Hogwarts, you know, and I'm studying some curious fixtures he left here centuries ago.
Fixtures?
Wait, Merlin went to Hogwarts?
Yeah.
Dozens of them, all around
That's
the
been
area.
canon for a while.
I've taken to calling them...
I thought Merlin would have predated Hogwarts.
I believe he created them as a diversion for his fellow Slytherins. He
No,
was
I think
terribly
the
fond of
time
puzzles and
Merlin's pretty
enigmas.
close. Like he's in the first few wizarding students at Hogwarts, but he
I can
does
see why you're
not
so interested in
predate
Merlin.
them.
I'd be keen to know more about the trials.
Well then, I'll let you in on a little secret. No one has yet managed to figure out how they work. But I believe I have just unlocked a crucial clue. I suspect that
Oh,
Mallow
Merlin was a Slytherin. Interesting.
in getting the trials to work.
Mallowsweet.
Versatile herb. Merlin repeatedly mentioned it in his writings. I had just arrived to test my theory when I was so rudely interrupted. You see, each swirl in Merlin's writing has its symbol in the center. That started me thinking, what if...
The Mallowsweet is meant to be placed at the center of the symbols.
Precisely. Would you care to do the honors? We can see what comes of our little hypothesis. I brought a trunk chock full of mallow sweet with me. It's just over there by my tent.
This trunk?
Yes, take plenty, even if you already have some.
I have the mallow sweet.
Lovely. Now, notice the vines on these pillars here, as well as a stone swell on the ground. Each trial has these features. Place the mallow sweet on the swell, and we'll see what happens. My word! Did you see that? The vines
Incendio.
disappeared. Merlin's beard!
What should I do now? The flames make the pyre sink.
This is uncharted territory. I'm curious about these pyres.
There we go.
Merlin's beard! How beautiful! What a day! I can hardly believe it.
So I'm curious if they ever do make a Harry Potter sequel series. I'm kind of curious like what direction they'd go with it because since the movies and the books do kind of do things a little differently. Would you follow?
We can call that a
Would the
success.
sequel series follow the movie lore, or the book lore?
However, I now have even more questions. How does it work? I must review my notes. I may have missed something.
Are all of
Because I remember in the Deathly Hallows book, Harry
Well,
Harry
I
never
think
breaks
he
the Elder
does this
Wand. He just
telltale
puts it
vow.
back in Dumbledore's
Well,
tomb.
Yeah.
You
So
should
it's like,
be to
well,
solve
shit, you can never bring that back
I believe I have what I need.
if you want the movie and book lore to
My guess is that
synchronized.
also
You
require
can't bring the
magic,
Elder Wand back ever.
which you can find in Hogsmeade, should you need more. I really must be off. Such a pleasure to meet you. And do be careful out here. Now, I've got what I needed. I shall return to the safety of my notes and...
I think. Hold on. What do we have requests? So we got the Trials of Merlin. We could do Herbology, and then we can learn Expelliarmus. So. That. All right. So I think we're gonna close out with. Yeah, we'll close out with these two. So we'll attend Herbology and get the Expelliarmus. I kind of wish they switched it and made Stupefy this spell instead of Expelliarmus, and made Expelliarmus like the basic shot.
How nice to see you, my young friend.
I don't know. It works fine this way, but I would have preferred. Oh right, it wants me to. There we go.
Did you just fall asleep on the floor?
I guess.
So in the books, I guess also the movies too, it's 2 houses per classroom, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's supposed to be just 2 houses per classroom. So you'll have like the entire. So it'll sort of be divided where like half the house. Like I guess it's divided
I
into
hope you were able to take care of everything.
Professor, I
between
completed
years
all of
and.
your most recent assignments.
Well done.
I don't know
Then you're
how
ready to
the
learn
Hogwarts scheduling
Expelliarmus.
system works.
Pay close attention. The disarming charm may often be all you need to defeat the most powerful dark witches and wizards you might encounter. Spellcasting requires a focused mind and a steady wand.
Oh yeah, as you get to more advanced spells, that the little wand work thing will get
Good
more
work. The
complicated.
dummy is here if you wish to stay and practice.
Expelliarmus!
You seem to have the right end of the stick, but keep practicing. Expelliarmus may save your life one day.
Let's see, quests. Okay, we just have herbology left. Y'all can run around Hogwarts Castle all you want. I'm taking the Flu Network. So I was watching the Lotus Eaters the other day. You know, as I do. And
As I do too.
it was the Hollywood is satanic
Mm.
thing, or the Grammys are satanic, and the whole segment was it's not one of their better ones. No, honestly, I didn't like it because it was like yeah, these people are doing some unholy thing, some very satanic things, and like yeah,
What are you up to
they're
just weirdos.
they're
They're
weirdos.
trying to be
Like,
well, they're trying to be what's the word? Not promiscuous, but
shocking and relevant.
Yeah, shocking.
Yeah, they're trying to be shocking and provoking.
Provocative, that's it.
Yeah. But
yeah, I mean, I think most of the members of Lotus Eaters are conservative Christians.
Yeah.
Which
or
I
at
actually
least
kind of
atheists.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of fascinating. Actually, kind of weird since like most Brits our age are either atheists or non-religious. So it's like seeing a millennial Brit that's actually Christian is almost like it's like a rare animal to me.
A little treat for your auntie.
Oh, hello. Class, please welcome the newest
She's my
rose
favorite.
in our garden.
Oh yeah. Question
look
for the
forward to growing
comment
together.
section and you, I guess. Yes. What would
How
you do?
thrilling
What
this is to have
wizarding
everyone
career
back
would you
together
have?
Again. This year will be filled with enchantment and excitement, but the most important thing cultivated in herbology.
I don't know, either something involved, either fighting dark wizards or dealing with magical creatures.
Spectacular than the bouncing ball.
I like dragons a lot, so maybe I'd take Charlie's job.
Now then, today we will be acquainting ourselves with the mellifluous tuber known as the mandrake root. Accio. Let's see if we can't make our fibrous
What
friends
about you? What would you do?
Shall we?
See,
First, let's protect our
healing
ears.
magic fascinates me. I'd absolutely be a member of a dueling club
Now,
though, because
everyone,
I definitely
grip the
would want
mandrake
to
by the
be like
tendrils and give it a
combat
firm
oriented.
tug.
But honestly, magical healing would be where I'd probably end up.
Quickly, place your mandrake in the new pot and pack down the soil.
Why are we doing this, Professor? We're fifth years. No, thank God no muggle ever uproots that thing.
The soil should envelop the root like
They
a
die.
warm, dirty blanket, putting the mandrake right at ease. Reparo.
I mean, does a mandrake just crawl back to the dirt, or does it just lie there, keep screaming?
Or I'm afraid. All right then, off you go. Splendid work, everyone. Now for our next task.
She reminds me of Poison Ivy if she made better life choices.
Yeah, exactly.
Hippogriffs like knotgrass.
Like I would absolutely. I genuinely think I would end up in like, as a magical doctor, or something.
The best time to plant a seed is last season.
Because
Second best
the
time
whole
is now.
concept of it, like, yeah, they have potions to regrow bones. They have potions to regrow bones. They have spells to fix broken bones. Like, what do you go like if you have a common enough spell, well, that like your arm is broken, spell fix. What do you take to the hospital? Like, there has to be some seriously intense magical spells and potions and shit that work in that. I think it would just be fascinating.
Yes, Professor.
Firstly, well done with your mandrake. They can be rather difficult to get a grasp of.
Should we say we nearly went deaf?
Sure.
I'll say, nearly went deaf.
Well, yes. Of course, the cry of a mature mandragora can be fatal, so remember to keep those ears protected. Now,
Oh,
as I mentioned,
thanks.
next we'll be planting dittany. Let us find you some seeds.
I already have some, Professor. Pick them up in
You know, it's actually kind of morbid that
The magic need.
the Mandrake seem to be sentient creatures,
There's bound to
and then
bloom.
wizards will just chop
I'd
them up to make
you to have
potions.
your own potting table here in the classroom. Wasn't easy to spare one on such late notice. Plant the seeds there now, and you can return to harvest them later. Even with soil, sunlight, and a bit of magic, they will take time to grow.
Let's see how to balance my star thistle arrangement.
Dittany's restorative properties make it a vital ingredient in the Wiggenweld potion, as you all should know from Professor Sharp's class. Well done! Once it can be harvested, your Dittany will be ready to use in Wiggenweld potion. I'll let
So, do
Professor
you think it's weird that Harry named all 3 of his kids after dead people?
say we
No.
branch out.
It happens all the time.
Introduce you to a
I
different
think it's just weird to do to name all three of them after people have died.
wants a better
Like if it's
suit
one kid, that's fine.
side of a cauldron. The cabbages do get testy without something to chew. Fortunately, I have a dummy for them to gnaw on. Be a dear and let them have a good chomping.
Yes, Professor.
They're in the other greenhouse. It's just at the
Yeah,
end
it's
of
like Ginny gets pregnant to their 4th child,
Pruitt,
and then Ginny makes the announcement. Harry gets excited, and then she instantly says, "And no, we're not going to name the child Sirius, or Remus, or Tonks, or Alistair, or God forbid, Dobie."
Hello. Saw you on your way to Hogsmeade the other day. Nice to meet you. I'm Leander. I'll be showing you the Chinese chomping cabbages. Up these stairs will take us there. But your lead.
Anyway.
Nice work in defense.
The
against
Chinese chomping cabbage.
I don't think it's that
Your
weird.
duel with Sebastian.
It's not that weird.
And he's good.
He's
thinks he's really good. But you outright slaughtered him. It was brilliant.
like it's very it's usually done as like a very kind gesture.
I nearly put Sebastian
as a
in his place
gesture of like
myself.
remembrance.
I mean, I would have if Hecate hadn't stopped me.
Didn't she stop that dragon skull from...
Here we are. Home of the Chinese chomping.
My issue is him
Now,
naming
see
him
that dummy?
after Snape.
Toss the camera.
Yes, that's
They'll do the rest.
That's the weird thing. I'm gonna name my child after this dude that pretty much made my entire school life awful.
yeah. It just doesn't make sense. Like, yeah, I get it. At the end of the series, Harry would have a newfound respect for Snape, but only because he knows that Snape was one of the good guys all along.
Yeah.
He only killed Dumbledore because he was ordered to.
My kind of plants.
Yeah, he wouldn't start actually liking Snape. He'd just simply, okay, I respect you, but I still hate your fucking guts.
Well,
You made my life miserable because
My
because
father
you're,
made yours miserable.
yes, and you're jealous that that my mom went with you or went with him instead of you.
It's chaos out there. Trolls in Hogsmeade and such. You can't be above throwing a cruciferous vegetable if necessary. Dogweed and deathcap has more of them, if you're keen. Other plants too. Ones your parents wouldn't plant in the garden. You get the idea. Anyway, we probably ought to head back to class. Take your time. I'll see you back in class.
But yes, like, it's weird that his one child is named after Snape. Like I don't understand. Malfoy had another redemption arc. A redemption arc right along with Snape.
I shall end our lesson here.
He turns away from the
Sorry, Mr.
Dark
Clapton.
Arts. He turns away from his entire family. For Harry, well, not for Harry. That's the wrong phrasing. But because he doesn't agree with them anymore. And
I should think Professor Garlick would be more careful with her mandrakes.
like, and then it's just like, oh no, they didn't. They're not friends. And at the end, why is that? Why is it Snape's different?
I tended to the Chinese chomping cabbages, Professor.
Remarkable.
I don't know, maybe because
I hope they weren't too
he
much.
knows that Harry.
Don't see any
He
point.
knows that, or Harry knows that Snape loves his mother, so it's like sort of
As you do seem to be
kind of like spiritually and bringing Snape into his
I need to
family.
see your skill in the soil
Also
continue to
kind of
blossom.
creepy.
Yes.
Magical.
I'm glad.
Hope those mandrakes are really relishing their new pots. Only cost me my damned hearing.
I do wonder about Professor Fig. He's hardly ever in his classroom. Most strange.
All right. Shh. And I think we will end off there. Or leave your answer to our question in the comments below. Oh, what magical career would you have had you graduated from, one of the magical schools? Would you potentially be an Auror and work for the Ministry, or would you be like myself, becoming a magical doctor or magical healer? Or would you be like my friend Caesar here, who wants to work with dragons? Anyway, thank you all for joining us. We will return to the adventures of Tonnen O'Brien in the next one.